childhood friend. It seemed as though we were destined to be poor, doomed to be unhappy, and ordained to be abused. I can't recall one single time when my mother smiled at me and told me that I could be whatever I wanted to be. She fed, clothed, and made sure that we had a warm bed to sleep in. I guess that's how she was taught to show love and affection. I know she did the best she could at the time, and I feel bad bringing this stuff up. But some kids just need a hug every now and then, for no reason at all. Some require affection on a daily basis in order to survive. I think I happen to be one of those kids. But maybe I needed too much. Maybe I was selfish and wanted a little more attention than the rest of my siblings, or maybe I was just not cut out to be beaten naked with extension cords, called bees and whores while growing up, or get my face slapped and scratched up on a regular basis. Maybe, just maybe, I was born to be special. I can't help thinking that I was sent here to make a difference somehow, even now. Speaking of making a difference, there was this friend I had growing up. She, her brother, and mother lived with her grandmother down the street from us on the 900 block of Green Street. We lived at 1068. Her mother was a beautician and would always have her hair looking so nice and pretty. She would have colorful ribbons, balls, and barrettes, neatly tied around each braid or twist that hung down her back. Sometimes she'd have colorful balls attached to the ends of her beautiful braids, noticeable at each turn or bob of her head. They always matched whatever stunning outfit she decided to wear that day. I was envious of her, but not in a mean way. I think secretly I wished that I was she, or that I could have been her sister. Sometimes I couldn't even focus in class because I was mesmerized, in a trance at how beautiful she was. She seemed so confident, so happy, so loved. I felt lucky that God had even blessed me with her friendship. There were about 8 of us that played together in our little clique. We would dominate the tetherball court. Other kids would come over there at recess just to watch us play. Oh, the joy they got from us grabbing that ball, holding it high in the air, punching it like there was no tomorrow, and then sending it fleeting around that pole. There was nothing she couldn't do. She was the best at tetherball, foursquare, dodgeball, hopscotch, and any other game that we played or invented. Boy, her mother must be proud of her, I thought. She would triumph over all her 5th grade counterparts without even breaking a sweat. Her hair would still be intact, and her clothes got not one speck of dirt on them. I always wondered if she had to take off her school clothes as soon as she got home from school. I had made it to middle school and was finally a Roosevelt Rough Rider. Things were different at this level. Boys began to notice you and your physical characteristics. They decided if you were in or out. I had been in 7th grade a couple of days when something happened, which was probably one of my most embarrassing moments ever. About 20 boys and girls had come from our same elementary school, and we were sitting together at the lunch table when it happened. I saw my friend sitting across from me whispering and passing it on like we did when we had something juicy to spread. I couldn't wait till the gossip got to me. But all of a sudden, my friend sitting next to me got the news and just laughed his heart out. Tell me, I said to Stacy, while nudging him in his ribs to curb his laughter long enough to pass it on. He whispered loudly in my ear and said, Patrick said you're in the 7th grade and still ain't got no titties. I looked down at my chest and then around the table at the other girl's chest and realized that he was right. I was the only girl sitting at that table that hadn't grown breasts over the summer. The girl to my right said, Tell me. I yelled at her and said something like, Shut up. You guys are so childish. You need to go back to Garfield Elementary School. And I grabbed my tray and I left. Once again, I found myself in awe of my childhood friend. She had grown breasts in elementary school. We all teased her at the time and said that she must have been having sex since her titties were so big. But I think we were just jealous. We were hurtful and jealous. I thank God that she didn't hold that against me for too long and we still walked to school together. She had such a good heart to be so young. She used to always come by my house in the mornings and wait for me to get shoved out the door on the way to school. But eventually she stopped coming in. I guess she wasn't used to all that yelling and screaming. They probably didn't do that in her house. It was embarrassing at first. She'd be inside, waiting for me, watching me get my face slapped or hearing the many slut tours and bees that I was called while trying to get ready for school. She was really a loyal friend at the time, and she got to see a side of me that none of my other friends had seen. She started waiting for me outside in the backyard. I remember running out of the back door, disappointed that she hadn't come, and missing her, thinking that she had finally had enough and decided that I wasn't worth waiting for anymore. But who could blame her? Who would want their day starting off in such a horrific manner? She surprised me. She was waiting near the alley, and for the first time, she saw me cry. I had never cried in front of any of my friends before because I didn't want to seem weak and I didn't want their pity. But thinking that I was alone, I cried. Huge, giant tears slid down my face and stung the fresh, open wounds that were dug there. I turned to see her standing there, facing me with her eyes full of sorrow and pity. I was so embarrassed, and I guess she could tell. We walked to school in silence that morning, not stopping by our other friends' houses to scoop them up along the way like we usually did. In fact, there were no shortcuts that morning. It was as if she was reading my mind, knowing that I would die if anyone else saw me cry. She pulled a small jar of Vaseline from her pretty little pink purse and gently covered the small open wounds on my face from where my mother had grabbed my mouth, clenched her fist, and twisted her fingers around until she tore up my skin. To this day, I don't think she ever told a soul about this, and I thank her every day for her kindness and her secrecy. I'm thanking you, my childhood friend, for being there for me. In times of need, you wiped my eyes so no one else could see. You knew my fears, you saw my tears, you healed the wounds over the years, and never told a single soul about the rain, about the cold. You heard the names that I was called and eased the pain from every fall. Your friendship felt so nice and warm when my young flesh was ripped and torn. I'm grateful to you with all my heart, though over the years we grew apart. But I'm thanking you, my childhood friend, for being there for me. In times of need, you wiped my eyes so no one else could see.